Great. Great. Give me 1 second and I will get going here. And I apologize for my my lack of preparation here, but I hope you don't mind. So anyway, I hope that you are well, and I hope the sound is okay. If the sound is not at all okay, then please let me know. You know, sometimes it's just a matter of plugging taking the cord out and then putting it back in and doing all that stuff. And so I just wanted to, if sometimes the sound can be a little bit spotty. So if that is in any way the case, please let me know. Okay. So just very quickly, Mark. Oh, Mark, it's nice to see you live. Great. Andres is here. Oh, it's nice to see you. Mary Quiet. Hello. Hello. And Paul, Beauparlant. So thank you very much. And my apologies for, what was it? Maybe it was being 2 years, about 2 years late, but with the discussion about possession. So, but thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to talk about that very, very interesting film from 1981's Possession. So I was it hasn't, I don't, how should I put it? I was actually thinking about talking about that film earlier, but, and there was a part of me that wanted to talk about that film and coincide my discussion with the Halloween season. I was thinking, oh, maybe we should talk about this in Halloween or something like that. But ultimately, I thought that I decided against that for a number of reasons. One, I think it was a little bit of a busy time for me, but also I thought, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Halloween films, I love horror films, and I love those genre films. Those of you who know me will hopefully that's clear over the course of however many months and years that this has been going on. So I'm a huge fan and admirer of horror films and many types of horror films, and I'm very excited, for instance, to talk about Mario Bava for the first time here. I'll be talking about Blood and Black Lace in February, so I'm very excited, and I hope that will be the first of more discussions of films like giallo films and the like. I haven't spoken about my interest in giallo films, but I absolutely adore giallo films. I adore them, and I'm just a huge lover of them. And that's just an example. Not all horror films that I've seen I like, but I do like a lot of them. And so I have nothing against talking about great films on Halloween, but I thought ultimately in the end, I don't think of Possession necessarily as a horror film. It is a horror film, I think, in many respects, but I don't think of it as a horror film. I think of it as something like, I mentioned it, it's like kind of a primal scream of cinema. And those can be described as being horror films in my mind, but I think of it more outside of the horror film genre. And so therefore I thought of it ultimately as a discussion, maybe not for Halloween per se, but sometime outside of it. But it just never materialized until quite recently. So I really apologize for that very much. And let's see. So, and just wanted to just go Gosh, okay. And Matthew here is here. I see Eric is here. Shay is here. Hello. And Carl Reese is here. And Isaac is here. Hello. Um, so I just wanted to say, take this opportunity to extend my really deep gratitude and express my really pleasant surprise at something that happened. I think I just was made aware of it quite recently, and well, let me just take a step back and let you know what's going on. So, it's now the weekend here, and in fact, it's Monday, my time in Japan. But now we're enjoying a 3-day weekend because it's a national holiday, and so I have a 3-day weekend here. So I'm just enjoying one extra day off, and it's now morning here, and we just. It was a pretty busy time for the family last night, and so we're just sleeping in. And now we're just enjoying a slow, lazy morning, as it were. We haven't had one of those in a while, so it's quite appreciated here. And so I wasn't planning on doing anything in particular. And as some of you may know, or may not know, depending on how well you're acquainted with this channel, I usually I try to respond to comments as much as possible, but I also am oftentimes pretty much, I don't like to spend too much time online during the weekends, because it's, my days off are a little bit, I like to spend them, family time, and also just a little bit of downtime. It's nothing against anyone here, of course. It's just, I think it's good to have just a little bit of time off. Even from YouTube, as much great as YouTube is, it's good also just to just switch it off, as it were, and not have to go to it, and I say YouTube, but I also mean included in that, anything online, social networking. I'll sometimes do. It's not like I'll be completely inactive or completely dormant during the weekends, but it's just my downtime is a little bit more over the weekends than it is during weekdays. Weekdays I'm moving around, I'm on the train, I'm sort of, my mind is a little bit more in that mode, so to speak, and I'm actually more, I have a computer more, and I use my computer for work, and so I also have my, I'm in that typing mode, as it were, and I feel a little bit more, how should I say it, social networking alert, if you know what that means. But when it comes to the weekend, I just kind of just chill out, so to speak, and just kind of do that. So it's not like I'm totally attentive to social networking and YouTube and messaging and the likes. So if you find that I'm usually quite behind the times and behind my schedule when it comes to that sort of thing, that's the whole reason. It's just because that's the way I usually spend my time off, and that's again, no, there's no, how should I put it? It's just the way my body and my mind tend to operate. So there's that. But I was made aware of something through a private message from a friend of mine, and he said, you should check out this particular thing on Reddit. I don't know if those of you who know Reddit are out here, but you should check out this thing on Reddit. There's something that's a very interesting post that was made about this particular channel on Reddit. And I said, okay, that sounds interesting. I have had the opportunity and great pleasure of reading in the past a number of really great posts made on the Reddit forum. A number of people have been very kind and generous to go out of their way to mention my channel or mention a video that I did on on Reddit, and so I was I don't use Reddit very often, but way back when I first saw a Reddit post like this, I was very touched, and so I just left behind a little thank you message to one of those Reddit posts saying I was really touched because many of the comments there were also very welcoming and very encouraging. And so I was very touched and very moved, you know. And then there were a number of others that were very similar. Let's see. There was one that was about the Godzilla set, I think. There was one also about, there were a couple actually about Edward Yang, if I recall, like Brighter Summer Day and Yi as well as others, just encouraging people to check this channel out, I think. And that was the main gist of those posts. And, you know, with Reddit, you see something on that's posted on Reddit, and one can read it, or one can ignore it, one can you know, give an upvote to it, one can give a downvote to it, and leave a comment and the like. And so it's a very free-ranging forum. I'm very much grateful for anyone who might have discovered this channel through the Reddit forum. It's quite refreshing, and that was my general understanding of Reddit when it came to any links with this particular channel. But then I was made aware through a private message over the weekend that you know, there's a new post on Reddit. Oh, you should check it out, Daisuke. You might find it interesting. I said, okay, what is this? And so I clicked on it, and it was a Reddit post that was I was excuse me, excuse me. I apologize. I was very very moved, actually, and it was very interesting because I don't know if, I mean, you don't know this at all, probably, unless you are very observant of all of the minutia of this particular YouTube channel. I wouldn't expect you to be this at all. It's only, I don't even know this unless I look at the YouTube analytics. But as the creator of this YouTube channel, I get notifications and I get alerts sometimes about, and I am able to look at how this YouTube channel is quote unquote performing, you know. And part of that is the number of views that one gets, and also how a particular video is working with a particular you know, period of time. Also, how many upvotes it gets, thumbs ups it gets, you know, if it gets a thumbs down, if a comment has been posted, that sort of thing. So I get those alerts and those bits of information, being the creator, as it were, of the YouTube channel that I'm doing here, called Daisuke Beppu. So that's just par for the course, really, and I don't do anything more with that information. It just get it and okay, that's fine, and move on. But part of the information that I get is subscribers, the number of subscribers. Now, you know, I take that stuff very seriously, and I try to encourage people to subscribe as much as possible. But you know, ultimately, in the end, it's your choice, and so I can't do anything more than that. I wouldn't want to do anything more to force one to you know, push the subscriber button here or there. You know, I'm the same way, of course. You know, I sometimes am a big follower of a particular YouTube channel, but for whatever reason, I just don't necessarily subscribe to it or something like that. And that's also on me. So I completely get it as both a YouTube person on this end, and also as a viewer of other YouTube channels, you know. But there are many channels that I do subscribe to. But the reason why I bring up subscribers is because over the weekend, I received a huge jump in the subscriber count. I think like over one day, it was like over like 110 subscribers. It was 110 something, because YouTube tends to round off to the nearest 10. So I received 110 subscribers. And then after that, I received a huge count. It was a huge, it was very, very giant. And I thought, I woke up and I said, wow, that's pretty interesting. There's all these people who are now subscribed. That's interesting. And I was very pleasantly surprised. I didn't quite know what was going on. Like, there wasn't any particularly intense video activity as far as my own personal channel was concerned. In other words, there wasn't any particular video that suddenly spiked up as far as I understood it. But what I then realized, and which is probably the case here, is I realized that a particular Reddit post had been posted on Reddit with respect to this channel. And it was around that time that this channel had experienced this sudden surge of subscribers. And so in my mind, I understand, therefore, that there is a direct link between this new Reddit post and the increase in subscribers on this particular YouTube channel. Therefore, I'm very much grateful, incredibly grateful, and very, very, very moved by this particular Reddit post. It's called, "Can the Mr. Rogers of Criterion Get Some Love?" So I think the conceit is that I am the Mr. Rogers of Criterion. So I think, there is a show in the US called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And I think lately also there have been some films that have been dedicated, maybe a documentary and also a feature film, dedicated in some form or another to the show and the personage and the personality that is Mr. Rogers. It's a children's show, and it was really quite an amazing show. I used to live in the U.S. for a number of years, as some of you may know, when I was a little kid, and I do remember watching on TV. Was it PBS? I think it was Channel 13. It was the Channel 13 where I was, Channel 13 PBS, because it was in the I think. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut region. But so I know the personage of Mr. Rogers, and so but I think and there have been some really nice comments over here and there over the course of these years here on this YouTube, where people have actually directly complimented this channel by saying, "Oh, this is like Mr. Rogers," or "This is like what is that? Something like what is it? Am I getting the letters wrong? What's AA something about." What is it, ASMR or AMSR? I always forget that. What's the order? Someone please correct me. But it's the thing about listening to something that is very soothing, and sometimes with the goal of listening to it in order to get to sleep or something like that. So there are a lot of channels that are devoted to this concept, which is a very interesting concept to me, about talking about things in a very calm, almost whisper-like tone. And sometimes people have commented to me in YouTube comments over the course of some years, "Oh, your voice is like this or like that." So I've always been very quite taken with those sorts of comments. And I'm not to say that every comment that I receive must be a compliment or I will never read it. No, not that at all. But I'm just very taken by a lot of the complimentary comments that I've been very fortunate to receive over the course of these years. By the way, no one has ever talked about my voice in that sort of way, and until I've started this YouTube thing, and so I'm quite how should I put it? I'm very happy to hear it. Although it's a big surprise to me if that's the case, because I wouldn't know. I think my voice is a little bit. It's really not so good, actually. But so there's that. Okay, and then the question for me was, so if there was this link between this Reddit post and the jump in subscriber count, then I figured, what's the content of this, Reddit post? And it says, can the Mr. Rogers of Criterion get some love? And yes, that was one thing I wanted to say before I continue, which is, how should I put it? I'm very, oh gosh, it's kind of difficult. I'm very flattered by the comparison, but I'm just, I don't even know how, oh gosh, how should I put it? In my mind, and I always say, this is just a guy, right, in my sort of the spare room in this apartment, which is itself quite small, and my family has very generously allowed me to put my Blu-rays and my stuff here on these shelves in the spare room, and this is the only place essentially where I'm able to do this YouTube channel recording, because everywhere else in the house is a little bit, or in the apartment is a little bit, maybe it's not necessarily the best place to do video recording, because there's a lot of other things going on. So, and also it has a nice background, and with YouTube, sometimes people say you should have a nice background and all that. And I said, oh gosh, well, if I have these shelves here, this is probably the best place to do it. And so I could do it over there, but it's a little bit maybe inconvenient as far as the actual filming is concerned. There's also a closet. There's a little walk-in closet that's right over there. And I've actually been toying with the idea of putting some of these, IKEA shelving units into that walk-in closet itself, and then putting all the Criterion titles into that closet, for two reasons. The main reason is because I think the shelving units here are becoming, they're still sturdy, but I'm always concerned, and I have these things on the wall to fasten them to the wall just in case there is an earthquake, because in Japan earthquakes are not uncommon, so we need to protect these sorts of things. My main concern is, of course, if the things fall, they can damage the discs and stuff. But that's c'est la vie. But the more important thing, if an earthquake were to happen, heaven forbid, and someone was in here, that could mean some of these things could fall off the shelf, and that would be very dangerous for that particular person indeed, including myself. And so, I thought it might be better to put at least some of the shelving units into that particular closet. That way, even if there is an earthquake, heaven forbid, then there wouldn't necessarily be any. I mean, the worst damage would be discs would have fallen off of the shelf. And as much as I really value these discs, I think it's probably better just to have that, just in case, so that there's no risk to, like, if anyone's in here, and that, or if I'm in here as well, or if my little kid is here and I'm not, or something like that, then there's no worry about that. So I'm probably going to be doing that over the course of the next month or so. But the other reason why I would probably do that with the Criterion shelving units that I have is because it would look a little bit like the Criterion Closet. And I thought, oh, that's a little interesting thing. It would be like my little mini Criterion Closet here in Tokyo. The reason why I bring that up is because a lot of people have been very kind and have said about this channel and about my collection. You know, he must have everything, including the laser discs, and you know, he has every version of everything or something like that, and thank you very much. And so yeah, I've been very, very, very fortunate to have been able to get my hands on a number of titles in the Criterion collection since way, way back. And I've been not collecting Criterion, but I've been a big fan and admirer of Criterion since they started. You know, since they started doing DVDs or since they started doing DVDs, and so I remember, you know, way back just looking at the shelf or at the stores and saying, oh gosh, here is whatever it was, RoboCop for $39.95 or something like that, and so, and that sort of thing. Or here's, and I remember seeing The Killer and Hard Boiled, you know, multiple copies of those on shelves new for whatever price they were being offered for. This was in you know, many places, but one place in particular I would love to watch or purchase Criterions would be Kim's Video in New York, where they used to sell videos as well, rent them out. So I've had a great fortune to be connected, or to not be connected, but to have a nice, be able to follow the Criterion collection for a number of years up to now. So and I don't know all the ins and outs of Criterion, but I do know my own experiences with Criterion as a consumer. So I've been very fortunate that way. And over the course of the years, I've been getting into the Laserdiscs and stuff like that. And so at the moment, yes, my Laserdisc collection is complete as far as I'm aware, as far as Criterion collection titles are concerned. And as for the Voyager Company titles go, my understanding is that I am complete except for one title. So, and that one title is I think it's more or less impossible to get. I haven't abandoned hope, but I'm sort of resigned to the fact that I'll probably never see that one, and so that's okay. But I've put a little alert out on many places just in case it ever pops up, and so. But it's a very, very obscure title, and it's not necessarily one that would be part of the current Criterion collection. So for all intents and purposes, I'm pretty much okay with the Laserdiscs as I have it. But so that's just the general background here. And I think because of all these factors, people, not everyone, but some people have been very, very kind to say that this channel is kind of like the Mr. Rogers of Criterion. And I've been very pleasantly surprised by that. And very, very moved by that, and so I want to thank you for that. So, and then so that brings us to this Reddit post, and I admit also that, you know, I am also human, and you know, I admit to sometimes being a little bit nervous when I'm reading comments, any comments, because, you know, I am very much a, you know, I like to listen to nice comments, or I like to read nice comments and the like, but I do appreciate also that there are many comments that can be critical, that have to be critical, and I have to read those as well, and even the ones that might be seen to be comments that are made quote-unquote in spite or anything like that, I still read those, and I still have to comment on those, because you know, there is a reason why someone somewhere took the time to leave a comment, and so and there is always something to be learned, I think, and you know, I think ultimately, even with the quote-unquote bad comments, there is undeniably in the commenter an undeniable sense that this person loves cinema. So I have to admire these people for their great admiration for cinema and the like. And you know, it's the thing too about cinema, and in particular the Criterion Collection. I appreciate the fact that there's so many there's so much stuff in the Criterion Collection, and there's so much room for discussion and even debate. And I'm not talking just about the debates that are often seen online about, oh, Armageddon, The Rock, why are they in the Criterion Collection, or something like that, or Salo is the most disgusting film in the world. How can people watch this stuff? That sort of thing. I'm totally cognizant of these over the course of many, many years, and I haven't. I mean, I've spoken at length about Salo. I haven't spoken at length about Armageddon or The Rock, but I'm always of the opinion that the question for me is not, oh, this film doesn't deserve to be in the Criterion Collection. No, the question has always been for me, is once a film is in the Criterion Collection, is it worth watching? Is it worth is it engaging or not? And that's always the question. I always, to be perfectly honest, I always try to stay away from it's not Criterion worthy or it is Criterion worthy, that sort of thing. But my point of that is that I understand that there's a lot of room for discussion and even debate, and maybe even heated debate. And so a part of that can also translate over into any kind of channel or any kind of podcast or blog that talks to some degree anyway about the Criterion Collection or about cinema in general. And this YouTube channel is one of them. And so I get that there are people who can be very passionate and be very passionately against anything that I have to say. But I have to keep in mind that there's nothing wrong with being disagreed. There's nothing wrong with being vehemently disagreed with, and I think it's actually quite healthy. And I think if everyone had the same exact opinion about everything, I think it would be a very boring place indeed. And so I actually very welcome that as well. But of course, I'm always very nervous about reading comments and the like, because there's a kind of I mean, it's just a little bit of a nervous thing, I suppose. But it's soon quickly. How should I put it? It's kind of like. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but my point is that I am only human. So I just while I try to engage with as many people as possible, it's there are times when it's like it can be. How should I put it? It can be, oh yes, this is the internet, that sort of feeling. But to my great surprise and delight, I was just going over these Reddit comments that I have here, which is from this post called "Can the Mr. Rogers of Criterion Get Some Love?" And I admit I'm feeling a lot of really lovely vibes from these comments, and so I'm just so thrilled, and I'm quite taken with these. I didn't quite realize, someone says he always apologizes. I feel bad. Yeah, I understand. You have to understand. I live in Japan, and also I grew up in the United States. I completely get that. The U.S. part of my brain knows exactly what that is. Yet the Japanese part of my brain, in Japan, not everyone does this, but there's this thing in Japanese where people tend to be very apologetic, even in common conversation, in particular because there is this concept of senpai kohai, superior, inferior, and I don't mean those in terms of I mean those are terrible ways of translating those words. It's not inferior in the sense of belittlement or superiority in the sense of like superiority complex or anything like that, but it's more in terms of seniority. Sorry, that's a better way of putting it. So higher seniority versus lower seniority, and that is usually due to age, that's usually due to rank in a company and that sort of thing. And so people tend to be very apologetic, at least I do when I speak Japanese or what and that sort of thing. I'm not the most perfect Japanese speaker when it comes to the use of these sorts of language rules in Japanese. But part of those language rules means using apology in a way to soften certain modes of discussion, or to maybe blunt any effect of any comment that might otherwise seem to have the possibility for even the slightest mode or hint of confrontation. So that's, I think it just comes out naturally, and I think it comes out as a kind of maybe not defense mechanism, but it might come out as a kind of way to temper any conversation or any comments that might occur based on what I was describing before, which is, I think, the cinema loving community is a very passionate community, and so there's always the possibility of someone being so passionate that there might be something that seems to be a hint of aggression in a particular comment or something like that. And while I don't necessarily discourage aggression from being inserted in any particular comment, I always think just to try to how should I put it? Just to try to have things at a nice tone before anything gets started. I always try to be as, how should I put it, not as apologetic as possible, but I think it comes out that way. Those words come out, and so I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know if I do that all the time, but maybe I do it more so than most other people. But that's the whole reason for that. And also, like, if I cough on camera or something like that, it's just So I know how the cough can sound, because, as I say, I'm a YouTube watcher as well as a listener, so I understand how these little things can be sometimes irritating to one's ear. And also, I'm very fortunate is that there's a large, for me anyway, a large number of people that tend to watch these videos, and so they can be of different backgrounds, and I don't necessarily know what is irritating to some and not to others, and so I tend to try to cover my bases, as it were, to the extent I'm able to. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that I'm. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I tend to do with that. So I think, yeah, but that's a very, very good comment. I got a big kick out of that one. So yes, so that's ASMR. Thank you, ASMR. That's what the thing is. So I want to thank all of you in the Reddit space who have, for whatever reason, either commented here, and I especially want to thank this person who made this post possible. Just what a lovely post. If the Reddit names and the YouTube names are different, so I don't know who did what. And I'm not going there and trying to track down anyone, that's for sure. I'm not doing anything like that. But whoever is out there, whoever posted here, the initial post or any other comments here, if you want to, if you and I have spoken already, I think I recognize a number, maybe one or two people who have the same username, and so I think we have spoken before. But if you want to drop me a line, and if you want to, if ever you want me, I mean, if you ever want my attention, let me put it that way, just say, oh yeah, I made that Reddit post or something, or I made a comment. I will be sure to comment to you as soon as possible, because I want to show you my eternal great gratitude and thanks to you for just expressing such kindness and warmth. And you didn't even have to do this. You absolutely didn't have to do this. But you took the time out of your day to whatever it is, find my photo and then just type in this thing and then post it onto Reddit, and then look at all the comments here, and then some other people. There's my friend took the time out to send this link to me and all this stuff. So it's just overwhelming, the kind of support that I'm feeling here. And I want to let you know that I've got, in terms of YouTube quantitative data, that this has reaped a reward in terms of an actual number increase in subscriber count. So this in terms of YouTube analytics, this is very beneficial. So this is really and more than that, and most important of all, this sort of thing is completely, as I say, no one had to do this, right? No one had to comment here and be all right and leave these really nice words about this channel. You didn't have to do this, but you did. And so I can't not be grateful to that. I mean, I'm utterly grateful. And just, I don't get a chance to discuss Reddit at all here in this channel, simply because it's a different forum completely. But I wanted to take this opportunity. So, and this is also really, I love this. There's so many, wow, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, and it's, gosh, this is really great. Thank you so much. That's really kind. That's really kind. Yeah. Yeah, his channel is great, and I enjoy the calmness of his voice and how he's always open to a film and tries to find the positives. Sometimes I think the videos go on too long, but at the end of the day, no one else is really going as in-depth as him, and it makes for some great content. That's I think, so lovely. Thank you so much for that. And actually, I agree with you. My videos go on too long. I agree with you completely about that, actually. 100%. Let's see. And who would win? There's another comment who said, who would win? A, multinational corporate conglomerates controlling movie viewing trends on YouTube, or B, one Beppu boy. And then Hipster Punchy says B, always B. Oh, that's very kind of you indeed. Thank you very much. Yeah, that is very kind. And then someone else here says, I'm skipping around. I don't want to go through all of the comments here. They're all great, but oh yes, here's one that says, I love his YouTube channel. I geeked out way more than I should have when he answered one of my questions during a live stream. Oh, really? Okay. Okay, I don't know which one. Oh gosh, please let me know. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can't promise to answer everything, but I'll certainly do my best. And if you say, that was that person who made that Reddit comment, that was me, then I will be sure to answer your question, or all of your questions. So please let me know. So I'm so sorry. Maybe I don't quite recognize the username here with any username that I've seen on YouTube. If I'm misremembering that, I have to apologize, but I don't, as I say, there's the possibility that the names might differ. And then, let's see. I was able to give him some information about a version of one of the Merchant Ivory releases once. I was thrilled to help him learn a little bit more. Oh, yes. I received a lot of information about some Merchant Ivory releases that I hadn't known before. Maybe it could have been Shakespeare. Gosh, what was it? Maybe it's Shakespeare Walla. But there were a number of information and bits that I received. Yes. Thank you so much for that. Again, let me know. Again, I'm not sure if the name correlates with the YouTube or Facebook name, whatever the case may be. But if I might know, yes, I think I remember a couple of occasions in the past of this. So if ever you want to comment, just let me know. Yeah, that was me, and I will surely respond to you as quickly as possible. Oh, and here's one that says, the Zen Master of the Criterion Collection. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So that's just my way of saying thank you very much. It's a nice, what a pleasant way to start my day here. And so I want to thank you very much for that. And so you are all in my thoughts, very much so. And so I'm quite moved, very, very moved indeed. I apologize, as I say, I don't go into Reddit as often as I should perhaps, but this has certainly been very very encouraging. So thank you very much. So now let's go to this. Here we go. Andres says, Edwin has seen great movies recently. I just saw Love Exposure for the first time and thought it was fantastic. Yes. Yeah, I have to talk about that film one day in this channel. I think that is, yeah, I'm glad you enjoy that one. That is a film. The Cinematheque, hi Daisuke. Oh, great, nice to see you again. Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader. He is one of my great YouTube heroes. And also, Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader is one of the smartest guys in this community. Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader's channel is on YouTube. Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader. Those of you who know Star Wars will probably recognize where that comes from. And Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader has a great knowledge and in-depth channel. He goes so much into the nitty-gritty about every single. I think he's, and I might be speaking out of term here, and if I am, please accept my apologies. But I see his live streams, which are just epic live streams, are so great. If you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, you've got to check it out. You've got to subscribe, and you've just got to check out some of those past live streams. Those are epic. They're epic. It's like, just, you ask him a question, he just will just go. He's like kind of like an encyclopedia. His knowledge is encyclopedic. Is that a word? It's incredibly in depth, and he goes so much more into detail than I could ever possibly go into as far as my own particular discussions are concerned. So you have to check out this channel. You have to subscribe to it if you can. Damn Fool Idealistic Crusader. What a great friend. What a great guy. What a great, awesome channel. And IGJL Express, hello, I have arrived. Yes, IGJL, one of the great avatars in YouTube. I love it. I love that picture. Eric, now speaking of great avatars and pictures, Eric, yes, people have been working you up on the Criterion Reddit sub for quite some time now. Really? I see a post about you at least once a month. Really? Sometimes more. Your videos are great. You deserve all the attention. Really? I had no idea. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. This one was nice because I was just I woke up to this news. You might, yeah, actually you can kind of tell because I still have bed hair. So that's it. Wow, stunned, absolutely stunned. Thank you so much. Thank you. If anyone out there wants to comment, say hello, I'm from Reddit or something like that, just let me know. You have my eternal gratitude, so I will certainly try to respond as quickly as possible. Even if it's a critical comment, that's fine. I will still comment as quickly as possible. Critical comments make this channel and make me better, so the more the merrier, I think. Isaac says, Daisuke, how do you balance rewatches and new watchings of films? Do you do one more than the other? Generally speaking, I tend to want to... how should I put it? I think this might be a little bit of a reflection of my lack of character in a way, because I always feel like I don't know a film unless I've seen it many times. And I feel I never want to, at least in terms of YouTube, I never want to talk about a film. There are some exceptions to this, like The Irishman or Suspiria, but for the most part, I tend to not want to talk about any film unless I feel comfortable about talking about it. And I only feel comfortable about talking about a film if I've seen the film many, many times. And so, how should I put it? I feel like, therefore, generally speaking, when I see a film only once, I haven't finished seeing that film, if that makes any sense. And so, and it's not like, excuse me, it's not like I will sit down and watch a film and then immediately rewatch it and rewatch it. It's not like that at all. Usually it'll take some time between the rewatches in order for, before I revisit the film. But usually I won't, I won't consider a film to have been fully seen, by me anyway. Those are my terms, how I feel about it. Unless I've seen it many times, because I don't feel comfortable about knowing as many of the details as I would like to know, and that sort of thing. And I think, of course, there is great merit and worth in talking about a film upon one's initial reaction to watching it for the first time. Don't get me wrong, I see the value of that and all. I'm just talking about me personally and my own experiences with it. I feel like the initial reactions are, for me anyway, I think, are really interesting. But what's more interesting for me is how something lasts over time, and that sort of thing, and all the things that it has to offer, because it's not like a picture that. It's not just one thing that you can focus on for many, many minutes. There are many, many pictures that are moving at a constant rate that one has to focus on. And so it's almost like figuring in onto every frame of the film. I don't do that necessarily, but the way I like to think about it is something akin to that. So, oh gosh, I hope that makes sense. But that's just me. That's just my own approach. Mary Quiet, it was a great surprise to see you mention on Reddit the other day. So cool, so nice community. Yes, I agree. I agree. Rock and Roll Rebel 1000. Damn, I posted that pic on the subreddit. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you, Rock and Roll Rebel 1000. You have my eternal thanks. IGJL Express. My comments aren't showing up. IGJL Express. Okay, they're good now. Rock and Roll Rebel 1000 continues. You're such a nice guy. I'm so happy more people are checking this channel out. Well, it's thanks to people like you and others, and your friends and acquaintances and the like. That's all thanks to you. I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again, which is, this YouTube channel is nothing, absolutely nothing, without my friends and viewers. Absolutely nothing. I'm just one component of this. So, and I had no expectations going into this, and like, and for me, I mean, this is really, this is unbelievable. I'm so thrilled with this. So I have many, many people to thank for this. Many, many people, yourself included. Rock and Roll Rebel 1000, for sure, for sure. Harvey Snow Leopard, Happy New Year, Daisuke. You are the Zen master of the Criterion Collection. Thank you, thank you. New weekend, I will attempt a 7-hour 1966 War and Peace Criterion Blu-ray. Wish me luck. Yes, best of luck. Although I think instead of luck, I will say, please enjoy the unbelievable experience that you will have with respect to War and Peace, Bondarchuk's War and Peace. David553, hi. Oh, and by the way, Harvey Snow Leopard, please let us know what you think of the experience after you've seen it. No hurry, of course, my friend. No hurry. Take your time. But I'd love to hear what it is you have to say. But David553 says, hi, Daisuke. Hello, David553. Devin Graham says 2 thumbs up. Thank you very much. IGJL Express, I'm subscribed to our Criterion. It's my favorite subreddit. Damn fool idealistic crusader, you never know when an upload can suddenly become more far-reaching. The Mr. Rogers nickname is perfect, as your channel has become a lovely home away from home on YouTube for fellow enthusiasts. Well, thank you, my friend, and right back at you. Okay, right back at you. So, yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, my friend. Devin Graham, Bob Ross. Yes, ASMR. ASMR, thank you very much. So ASMR and Bob Ross. So Harvey Snow Leopard, David Graham, thank you. Auto sensory meridian response. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what it was stood for. So thank you very much for that. I learned something new every day. IGJL expresses Godzilla box. Carl Reese says, you definitely deserve more subs and attention. You and Ryan Hollinger are the only film analyst chat channels I watch. You offer very articulate and well-observed thoughts on a vast array of film. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Damn Fool Idealist Crusader says, I'll admit to getting a definite sense of ASMR from listening to your videos, Daisuke. Particularly if I'm listening at work, the effect strikes differently, so some may not see it in the same things. Thank you. Fig Genti, hello. Daisuke, you are a legend. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say so. I'm going to skip around here, just skipping around the comments here. Very complimentary. So kind of you. Let's see. Damn fool, I disagree. Chris says, where did you get this bump on your head, or was it falling? It was a falling Brazil CAV box set. I'm not sure. Maybe you're asking me, do I have a bump on my head? I don't know. I do have this. I have something here, which is a kind of something that I got when I was a little kid, and it was a very innocent thing that happened. But it's a little bit of a facial blemish that won't ever go away, but I tend to forget about it unless someone makes note of it. But that's about all I have as far as any kind of scars are concerned. But the bump, maybe it's referring to my bed hair. I'm not sure, because I just woke up. I woke up and I just started it because I was so excited about this notice that I received from a friend about this Reddit post that I couldn't not respond to it immediately. And I was going to make a video about it, but I thought, oh, it's probably a little bit better and better for me to do it live. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. Just skipping around here. Fig Genti says, it is amazing that we have access to the Criterion Collection. Yes, the Criterion Collection has done us a lot of great things over the years. I mean, it's not perfect, but no label is. But I think it can come... It can be considered to be coming close to being as perfect as one can hope for from any label. So, really great. Let's see. Just keeping going here. Yeah, Garrick27, hello. You say, I was secretly hoping for Armageddon again, just to see everyone freak out. So this is probably a discussion about the Reddit thread, I think. Maybe something I'm not quite sure about. Prophecies of Nostradamus. Oh, gosh. JL Express. Prophecies of Nostradamus. Yeah, you probably know about that. That really... it would be great if that were ever given a proper release one of these days. But okay, oh well. Yeah. Let's see. Just moving around here. Let's see. Mark L. Oh, apologizing often. A link with Canadians. Sorry for this comment. It's very nice. Yeah, I've been meaning to go back to Canada again just for a trip. My family and I are talking about family trips. I mentioned Canada, so maybe one of these days. I've had the great pleasure of visiting Toronto and Quebec and Montreal, or I should say Montreal. Really great, but I've never had a chance to visit British Columbia. I've always wanted to go, and other parts of Canada. But one of these days, again, if there's more time. Mary Quiet very kindly says, the politeness is a welcome and refreshing place for many YouTube channels. I think that's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Starman Jr. is here. Hello, Starman Jr. It's nice to be able to talk with you live. Thank you. Erwin. Reta Males, hello. It's nice to talk with you again from Chile. Thank you so much to see you again. It's nice to talk with you. I think we spoke maybe sometime a few days ago in one of the live chats. Again, I'm skipping around here, and let's see. Yes, Harvey Snow Leopard says, I am Planet of Snail on Reddit. So yes, so you left the Zen, I'm the Zen master or something of Criterion. That's very kind of you. Wow, wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. All right, so just sorry about this. Starman Jr. says, I love the length of your videos. Thank you very much. But, you know, I am, you know, how should I put it? I always, I get a lot of, not a lot, I get the occasional comment. And I'm not saying that the Reddit post was in any way critical or like this, but I welcome that sort of thing because I do get a I do get those comments about how, you know, I couldn't continue watching because it just you wouldn't take the conversation somewhere. You just kept talking or something like that. So I get that very much, and I thought about, oh, how should I try to fix this and do this and do that. But, you know, ultimately in the end, it's unless I can, unless this is like a job for me, I can't. I figure, well, you know, I'm not doing this for any kind. It's not my job, and so this is something that is part of my life. That is the fun part of my life, and so I thought. There are things where I know I can definitely improve and try to do in terms of editing and the like, but this part I think ultimately is just, and you know, unfortunately, that's just the way I am for the time being, anyway. And so, and also because I don't quite know where I would be able to edit. I think it has to do more with my presentation style more than anything else. If I had a script, I think that would be much better in terms of being able to shrink down the length of videos. But I think I don't like to prepare scripts simply because I don't have the time necessarily to write out a script for something. So that's just the nature of this. So unless I were to do this full time, and I'm probably never going to be doing this full time anyway. I wouldn't want to do this full time. Not that I don't like everyone here, and I don't like YouTube and something like that. But there's something I think about doing this as a kind of hobby and thing that just has a nice feeling for me. And I think if there's any kind, and that's one of the reasons too I don't like to do Patreon, is because I don't like, for me anyway, I would always feel a sense of obligation towards wanting to make something here or having to make something there. Even if that obligation weren't there, that sense of obligation would still exist in my mind. And so I like the idea on the one hand of receiving comments and receiving suggestions from you on the one hand. Don't get me wrong, I really like that. But on the other hand, at the same time, there's a great sense of freedom that I feel being able to, let's say, choose something that I want to talk about and that sort of thing. And I think part of it also has to do with just being free to speak on a topic for as long as I want. And if someone wants to tune out at a particular point, no problem. You can do that at any time. You know, I understand that one's time is precious. I certainly understand that. But so the give and take of that, and the ultimate result of that, at least at the time being, is just I'll probably just keep doing what it is I'm doing at the risk of maybe turning off a number of people. But I completely get that. I completely understand where that comment is coming from. So I get that at all. So I for one think that sometimes these can go on a bit too long myself. It's Ayakona23 says that comment about Daisuke's videos that Daisuke just read out is pretty darn accurate. Both the good and the part about the videos going on for too long. Yes. Let's see. IGJL expresses, I like when one person commented all the details of the Godzilla set on one of your videos before it was announced. Who was that? That was an interesting thing that happened. Very really interesting. Let's see here. All right, I am going to start to. Okay, I have to start going now because. Sorry about this. So I have to go. Oh, Cooper Clever 1972 is here. Hello. Hello, it's nice to see you. Oh, great. Nice to see you. I hope you're well, my friend. Dr. 13 is here. Hello. Have you seen The Lighthouse? No, I haven't, I'm afraid. I think it's just being open, maybe released here in Japan. I'm not sure. The release schedules tend to be a bit delayed when it comes to release schedules in North America versus Japan. So I haven't seen a lot of films that are in the discussion, as it were. Parasite hasn't been released yet. I think it's going to be released next week, I think, but not here yet. There are others, so there's all that. So I have a lot of catching up to do, and that also means, alas, or maybe not alas, I'm not sure. It depends on your point of view, but that means that I won't have any direct discussion of any Academy Awards or anything like that. Or I had no. It's going to sound terrible the way I'm going to say it, but I had no interest in the Golden Globes per se, in the sense that I didn't necessarily. I mean, I knew some of the films going in, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and The Irishman, but apart from that, I didn't necessarily feel. I didn't know any of the other films, so I wasn't feeling that. I don't usually feel that excited about those. It's a similar kind of vibe with me in the Academy Awards as well. Way back I was quite into the Academy Awards, but I can't watch any of the films on time, so I don't know. I don't have a particular stake necessarily. I don't have. It's not like I can understand what the films are being. The best picture films. I haven't seen most of them, and so it's not. It's like I can't necessarily get that excited about films that I'm not able to see yet. So that's how I tend to feel about these award shows and the Golden Globes and the Academy Awards. So I know that's getting into award season, and so I think there's going to be a lot of other great channels and a lot of great videos from other people, podcasts talking about this stuff, and so that's great. Unfortunately for this channel, none of that stuff will be going on. So. But it's definitely worth talking about. So hopefully, if you have any information or talk about that, please feel free to do so. I'm very happy to see those comments, of course. But if you have any suggestion, or if you're going to do your own YouTube channel video or series on the Academy Awards, that's really great. I'm also a YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and one of the things that happened, there's the YouTube channel called Collider Videos. I don't know if you know this, but I was. I don't subscribe to his Collider videos, but there was a particular show that I liked on, and I think it's still there, unless it's been one of those shows that was like, what was it? There was something really. They canceled a lot of their videos there for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure what happened, but there's a show there that is called For Your Consideration. And I love that because the hosts on that show, I think, are really quite good. I've never met these people directly or anything like that. So I'm talking purely as a fan. But in particular, there's this guy called Scott Mantz. He's very famous, I think. He's like a critic, and also he's, I think, all this. I love Scott Mantz. I think he's so great. And the other person there is Jeff Snyder. I really like his sort of down-to-earth, kind of cool discussion of these things. He's kind of got that insider vibe to it. I like shows like that very much. Don't get me wrong. I think those shows are really great, and so I welcome anyone who has similar takes on on Academy Awards and the like. And if you have comments on that, please feel free to do so. The more, the merrier. So, when I said earlier I don't have any interest in it, I mean interest in the sense that I don't have a stake in it because I don't know what the films are. But if you are excited about them and you want to, let's say, make a YouTube video about your predictions for the Oscars or something like that, and if you want to post it here on this channel, please feel free to do so. You can do that anytime. At any time, I'm okay with that. And also, I'm okay with anyone wanting to post a video link to their channel on this on the comment section here. I'm okay with that as well, as long as just please be sure that the video is maybe cinema appropriate, that sort of thing. I don't I wouldn't want well, yeah, just let me just put it like that. Just make sure it's cinema appropriate. Let me put it that way. Yeah, so that's, I guess, my point, therefore, is as far as this channel is concerned, for anyone who doesn't know, I won't be talking about the Academy Awards or anything like that, but simply because I don't know what the films are, and I'm not, therefore, I don't have that direct interest in the awards show stuff at the moment. I think it would be completely different if I did see all the films or most of the films, but as it happens, I am unable to. So that's where that is coming from. Excuse me. So, but that doesn't mean I detest the award shows. I think they have a lot of merit and worth, and I think if anything, they have a way of bringing to light some films that would not necessarily have otherwise been brought into the discussion, at least as far as a more of a quote unquote mainstream focused discussion. And so I think there's a lot of worth and value to these things. We can always disagree about the ultimate winners and stuff like that, but that's part of any kind of film-related discussion, I think. Just because something wins an Academy Award doesn't necessarily mean that aura will continue on throughout history. Or maybe it will, who knows? And that those sorts of discussions, I think, are always worth having, in my opinion. Anyway, my friends, I have to go. I'm really sorry. I really have to go. So I will see you. Again, I apologize for not answering any questions that you may have posed. If that's the case, I apologize. Please feel free to leave a comment in any video or this video, whatever is to your best, whatever is to your best convenience, I suppose. And then apart from that, my friends, please be well and have a great rest of your day. And once again, thank you very much. Thank you to all who have been kind enough to support this channel through your valuable time and energy and great enthusiasm. It's been very encouraging for me, and it's just yet I have so many people to thank, that I just know that it's too many people to thank, because it's just overwhelming, just how many people are so supportive and so kind. And yeah, so I want to just, sorry for going on about this, but once again, it means so much to me. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, and enjoy your time, and be well. And as always, keep on watching a lot of great movies. My dear friends, cheers and take care. Bye. Thank you very much. All right, so, alrighty, so that's good. I think we're done. So thank you very much, my friends, and peace.